Pragmatic AI is how we have a pragmatic approach to providing AI capabilities, i.e., I'm not promising the world to our customers. I am painting a vision that we can get there through this very methodical approach where we think through it. We are very agnostic. What we wanted was to create something that's easy so that it can be as much about the solutions that we bring to the customers as much as a factory for customers to build their own AI outcomes within. Our strategy, obviously, is to sell product, is to solve these problems for our customers. But it's not to just sell them a bunch of GPUs and walk away. It is to make sure that they're getting the desired result to actually see that outcome. That 90% failure rate is well worth that 10% success rate because it more than pays for itself. So that I think we'll continue to see. Now, obviously, again, it's just like going to the gym. The more you exercise, the more you become, the more better you get at these things, the more success you see. So from our standpoint, as we see more engagement, as customers start to work on this more, they'll start to see fewer failures and more successes. My name's Jason Hardy. I'm CTO for Artificial Intelligence at Hitachi Vantara. I've been with the company for, almost 13 years now. My kids have seen nothing but Hitachi, so it's been fantastic. I was actually a customer beforehand, and I came over through a transition, and I've been really enjoying it ever since. My background has been in data and in data analytics, not from a data science perspective, but how we actually apply data into solving for some critical problems. And that brought me into our data portfolio, supporting our object storage technology and things like that. And just through the natural progression of technology and how the market evolved, I spearheaded the effort to create an AI brand behind Hitachi Vantara, or within Hitachi Vantara. And that is Hitachi IQ. So that is really this laborious process that I went through, and I love every minute of it. And now I'm leading the charge as far as what AI means to us as an organization, and how we can create a different paradigm within the market, and really help our customers create something that's relevant, and start to see a lot of value from this technology.
Yeah. And can you sort of put Vantara and Hitachi IQ in the context of Hitachi, which most people know from at least my age, as an electronics, consumer electronics company, but obviously it's much more than that.
Yeah, it's a massive. So we are a division. We are several layers deep inside Hitachi Limited, the larger multi-conglomerate Japanese organization. I think there's now about 900 business units inside of Hitachi Limited, and we're one of them. So we range from everything from trains and nuclear power and transformers and consumer electronics, like you said, like rice cookers and things like microwaves and things like that, all the way into the IT capabilities, from what we do inside of even consulting services, into product engineering for customers, as well as obviously engineering our own products. Hitachi Vantara, formerly known many years ago as Hitachi Data Systems, is kind of like the IT arm, effectively, of Hitachi Limited, as in we sell data storage technology to many, almost all of the Fortune 100 and beyond organizations, everything from commercial to large enterprise to government and beyond. So from our standpoint, it's a bit different for a company who makes trains and transformers and things like that to also have this very predominant and prestigious data platform business. And really the core behind that is the fact that we understand across all of the big things that we do, that data is still the most valuable thing that our customers have, and that we that even ourselves create. So having a capability to deliver on data outcomes, data technologies, whether it's storing it or activating it or consuming from it or whatever it is, it's very critical, and it's critical to how our customers succeed. So this data business living inside of this massive Hitachi organization is actually a natural fit because of that that need for manufacturing and energy and transportation and logistics, all these different types of businesses rely on it so heavily. So for us, it's really capitalizing on what we're good at. And Hitachi IQ, which is the AI portion of Hitachi Vantara, takes that one step further. As we know and have been said in the market frequently, that data is the fuel for AI, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So again, it's this natural fit for who we are as a company, being very data centric, and how we can use that and capitalize on that capability we have to then drive AI outcomes into the market. Now, taking that one step further, when we look at Hitachi IQ, yes, it is the infrastructure. Yes, it is the compute and the GPUs and the data and how we harness it and the IT pieces of it. But it's also having an awareness and bringing in other parts of the Hitachi Limited machine to help customers realize the relevancy and to align with them on their thinking in the industries that they work inside of. So we actually make trains, so we can actually do AI for trains. We make obviously all the power grid stuff. We can do AI inside those systems and into those business units and customer types and financial services and et cetera, et cetera. So really our strategy and everything that I created around Hitachi IQ and how we're executing is as much on the infrastructure side and where we've been really good at for 50 years now from a Vantara perspective, to as much as the outcomes and solutions we create with that point of view and that expertise in the industries that our customers execute within. So it's blending now across those. And just like we're having a data business inside of a very large manufacturing company like Hitachi, now having an AI piece of it inside of a very large manufacturing company like Hitachi is kind of that natural evolution to how we can create a lot of really pragmatic and capabilities out there.
Yeah. So Hitachi IQ isn't a product or one system. It's a collection of
It's a brand, yes.
a
Yep.
brand,
It
right?
is infrastructure. We do have SKUs and GPUs, and we partner with NVIDIA on collaboration and bringing product in. But you could consider it a kind of an umbrella around what we do for infrastructure. So we have NVIDIA GPU systems. We have storage technology for parallel file system functionality, but it's also the solutions that we bring into it as well. And we call those the Hitachi IQ 4 solutions, for an outcome.
For I'm sorry, for the number 4
No,
or
for like FOR.
right,
So
right,
Hitachi IQ 4 manufacturing, Hitachi
right,
IQ 4 energy. So
right. And are those uh, SaaS products, or is that a consulting business?
so it's not SaaS. It is consulting, absolutely, because it is so heavily bespoke, but it is also turnkey. And I know that's like, wait a minute here. So what we've been able to do, and this is through decades of having a capability in the AI space, we've been delivering outcomes to customers to do tremendous things with AI for decades. What we've been able to do is through that learning, we've built product. Now we built product in a bespoke way for a customer or for an outcome. What we've been able to do is take that product that we've built and poured it into Hitachi IQ's portfolio so that we actually have skewed outcomes effectively that say, hey, this like we can make up like we have a fault detection system or a guided repair platform that uses generative AI where you feed it a service manual or many service manuals in some cases. And as a service engineer, you can describe the problem and it will give you a diagnostic tree. And it has an LLM that helps feed that and power that process. That is an outcome that lives inside of Hitachi IQ that we sell as a capability. Now, it's not saying, hey, you buy Hitachi IQ in this frame and then you run just this thing on it. That's just one of the many things that can be
Right.
used inside this shared resource from an infrastructure perspective. So that's why I say it's as much infrastructure and what we deliver into data centers as it is the outcomes that we put on top of that to then help our customers realize the potential that for AI to improve on their business and give them a bigger capability.
Yeah, I see. Can you tell me what pragmatic AI is?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so AI has been kind of framed as this, and I agree from the big vision of it, it is going to transform how we do business.
Yeah.
Agentic AI is going to drive our productivity, increase it exponentially. Obviously, there's a lot of technology hurdles and things like that that we have to get through, but we're starting to see some of the fruits from that labor. Now, what pragmatic AI is how we have a pragmatic approach to providing AI capabilities, i.e., I'm not promising the world to our customers. I am painting a vision that we can get there through this very methodical approach where we think through it. But day one, don't expect it to completely revolutionize how you do anything. Day one, you start to cut your teeth on it. AI itself, generative AI and agentic AI especially, they're still going through teething pains. I call it kind of, it's going through puberty right now. It
Mhm.
has to grow up very quickly, and especially at the rate at which it's being adopted and the rate it's being evolving, it is growing up and maturing very quickly. It's being forced into it. But we still have to be practical about how we think about this, and we have to be grounded in reality that yes, there is some fantastic capabilities that can come from this, but let's be pragmatic here. Let's go after things that maybe that low hanging fruit, that where we can see some success or where we can learn from it, but let's also not try to transform the core of your business step one where you end up on front page news when something goes wrong. So I call it going after the peripheral of the business, kind of that
Yeah.
edge, and then get maturity in that space in those use cases, and then start to work your way into the core as you gain and exercise that muscle.
Yeah. How is generative AI changing the game when it comes to AI infrastructure demands?
It's increasing it exponentially. When we talk about traditional AI, that machine learning capability, even things like robotic processing is a form of AI.
Yeah.
It could be done in CPU. It could be done. I have Raspberry Pi at home that I like to tinker with and stuff. You can run AI on that. Now,
Yeah.
at the same time, though, that that is not generative AI. Generative AI has created this mathematical paradox of how the transformer operates. And so in that, in the core of how generative AI works, it has caused this exponential increase in the need for processing power. Now, there are certain ways to cheat the system, and you can do things. You can do it with lower end systems. I run LLMs on my Mac, on my MacBook, which is great. It's great to be able to experiment with on that. But when you look at it from an enterprise perspective, especially adopting generative AI, it has such a tremendous amount of one data necessary to build relevance within the model through things like retrieval augmentation or even how you fine tune your model. But it's also how your end users interact with it. So it's very Wild West almost, where
Yeah.
it's not a predictable workload. So now the more you use it, the more you're like, wow, this is really powerful. And I can see how it can improve on my business. But at the back end, to get to that point takes a lot of effort, but also a lot of infrastructure to be able to do that. And as your users get more accustomed to it, it's only increases more in consumption because they know they, again, it's exercising that muscle. What we
Yeah.
also see too is that users, if you don't give them access to it, they will go figure out a way to use it anyway. And in most cases, it's using things like ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or any of these these open and available free systems. And nothing's ever free because that data is being utilized for training. So that we call that shadow AI. So there is this, again, this like it's a huge amount of infrastructure, but at the same time, your users are going to figure out a way to do it if you don't make that investment into the technology. So.
Yeah. The what are some of the mistakes you see? Because everyone's experimenting with
Mhm.
generative AI and now agents.
Yep.
There isn't that much in production yet. But what are the common mistakes you see that lead to failures?
Yeah, a lot of it would be the data, and it's kind of multiple folds here. One of them is data, where your data estate, not 100% of it, but take that use case that you're going after. Let's say it's again the guided repair thing or the maintenance thing. If your data is not in a state that you can accurately consume from it, it's a garbage in, garbage out problem. So obviously the output coming from the system is going to be flawed because the input going into the system to give it context is flawed. So this unprepared or unclean data, for lack of a better term, causes a lot of this consternation around, well, I'm not getting what I expected out of it, so therefore it's a failure. Well, maybe it's because we didn't do all the pre-work ahead of it. Also, another area that I see is where customers have an expectation that AI is a product. It's not a product, it's an outcome, it's a solution, it's a tool. It's not like SQL, or it's not like a database even to at its most natural form. It is an outcome, it is a solution set. So in that is having that expectation that I'm buying a product, so I just should work flip of a switch, and that's definitely not the case. So it's having an unhealthy expectation going into it, going back to being pragmatic about it. The other side of it, though, too, is where I see that there's this rush into AI, executive level saying we need to do AI, so they're trying to figure out AI, and the right parties aren't involved. Having a successful AI outcome, generative or otherwise, really focus on generative and agentic, it's a multidiscipline thing. As in, you need IT as much as you need legal and HR and the solutions that you're trying to solve for to be involved in it. So don't just expect IT to give you AI and what they go turn on Copilot or something like that and call it done. That's not a success. So having all the right parties involved, having them evaluate, okay, measure what are my KPIs, me from the point of view that I have in the role that I'm in, and how does that play into the AI outcome. So not having all the right people involved really causes problems there. So that's why what we built is this service to even help bootstrap some of this that we call discovery. And its intention is to pull all the right parties together. Its intention is to to analyze and understand the data, to understand the business problems that we're solving for, and make sure that everything aligns so that when we do go build a proof of concept or go into a pilot, that everything is set up beforehand to be successful. And occasionally it still fails. Maybe it's just not the right time, or you don't have enough of the information. Your information's clean, but it's just there's not enough detail, or the expectations weren't right. Whatever it is, or it's successful. But the point is that you're getting all your ducks in a row beforehand before you start to click go on that, and then obviously that leads into a lot more successes. And this ideation process also helps flesh out what are the use cases we should even tackle. Yes, we have many problems inside of a business. Again, let's start at the edge. What are those low-hanging fruit things that we could use to show value from an AI perspective?
Yeah. What is over provisioning? And
Over provisioning could be a lot of things. Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it a
So,
problem?
yep. Over provisioning from a compute perspective basically turns into where you're throwing far too much workload at an environment where I'm over provisioning it it can be kind of twofold here. I'm over provisioning from I'm throwing too much at it, and it's not it's being oversubscribed, it's being taxed. So you start to see these choke points along the way. The other side, so now as I'm interacting with it from an end user, if I have to wait a minute or 30 seconds, imagine if you went to ChatGPT or whatever generative AI platform you use, and you type your question in or whatever it is you're learning, and then you hit wait and you hit enter, and you don't get a response back for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. You're going to think something's broken here, and I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to try again. Well, that's because behind the scenes, there's not enough resources to be able to support that ask that you're asking. And that's an over-provision problem, an oversubscribed problem. The other side of it, though, is where you over-provision your resources and you don't have enough workload to keep them all busy.
Right.
So now you've spent too much money to actually to support the need that you have. Now there is obviously where you want to have some margin in there, but yeah, from an over provisioning perspective, it can be either not enough or too much technology to support what you're doing, and then obviously there's cost implications from that.
Yeah. And so Hitachi IQ, do you guys have your own suite of models, or are you the solution provider and a model agnostic?
We are very agnostic. What we wanted was to create something that's easy. Now, what we have done, though, is in our solutions, we've embedded models. So at GTC 2025, it was Jensen announced the AI Data Platform Program. We are a part of that. We are a part of the NVIDIA AI Data Platform program. And that really is the initiative to bring data and inferencing closer together. And it's really important for storage companies to provide that, because obviously we're the keepers of the data. So in the solutions that we build for this, we utilize things like Llama Nemotron, which is an NVIDIA model that was created. But at the same time, too, we use other models, maybe Llama 4 or Llama 3 even, or different whatever you can get from Hugging Face that we picked at the time. We also are building our own models from a Hitachi perspective for the industries that we work inside of. Those aren't released to market yet. Those are still under experimentation, and under design and being built. But we really designed it to be agnostic so that it can be as much about the solutions that we bring to the customers as much as a factory for customers to build their own AI outcomes within. And that's why NVIDIA's AI factory concept makes so much sense, is because it is this agnostic engine that they can use our tools, they can use their own tools, and in our tools include things like NVIDIA AI Enterprise, or it could just be a bunch of compute resources that they use for whatever they need to, and they never call us again except for when they need more resources. So it's really goes both ways, and it's up to the customer on how they want to consume it. Now, we prefer obviously that they stay in kind of the ecosystem that we've created for them, and we build these solutions with them and all that great stuff. But it is designed to be flexible so that the customer can do what they want.
Build the future of multi-agent software with agency. That's AGNTCY. The agency is an open source collective building the Internet of Agents. It's a collaborative layer where agents can discover, connect, and work across frameworks. For developers, this means standardized agent discovery tools, seamless protocols for inter-agent communication, and modular components to compose and scale multi-agent workflows. Join Crew AI, LangChain, Llama Index, BrowserBase, Cisco, and dozens more. The agency is dropping code, specs, and services, no strings attached. Build with other engineers who care about high-quality multi-agent software. Visit agency.org and add your support. That's agntcy.org. Yeah, and are most of your customers, is the attraction that Hitachi has these other business units, so you have expertise in, as you say, railways? So if an analogous company, whether it's railways or something else in transportation, when they're looking for a partner, they say, well, Hitachi does this already, so they would have a better handle on what we need.
That's a part of it. I think it kind of goes. It's a couple things. One, obviously, it is, yes, we have an expertise that's unique. That where we build the thing that we can also support from an AI perspective. So we know both ends of it. We're also a manufacturing company, a heavy manufacturing company. So we understand manufacturing and how AI can improve on supply chain and the process and all that stuff. So it's as much that, though, as it's also that we're very trusted. We've spent 50 years building a brand, Hitachi Vantara, Hitachi Data Systems, on a 115-plus-year-old brand being Hitachi. In that, Hitachi is synonymous with quality. So from our perspective, it's as much that our customers trust us because we've been working with them for, could be 30 years in some cases, so that they know that when we say we're doing something or we stand behind something, that we mean it. We stand behind it. So it's gone through its paces. At the same time, too, it's also that, yes, we are innovative, that we're creating new things, and that we're creating these things under the point of view of how a customer would use it practically. Does it actually solve a real problem? How would we address that problem? We do it through this way because we see the same thing, and then obviously having that relevance to the customer from their point of view.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about agents and agentic workflows and agent building platforms. What's Hitachi IQ doing in that regard?
Yeah, so we're obviously it's very new and very fresh. We are currently exploring what is the best agentic framework for us to really integrate in and bring our capabilities out. Obviously, we are doing a lot with NVIDIA, so we are using NVIDIA's IQ blueprints in some cases for a lot of the agentic capability, and so that brings in reasoning models and things like that. Like I said, the Llama Nemotron is an example where reasoning is super important for agents so that they have agency and can kind of work through this. But as far as how the agents work together and how they communicate and all the things that have to happen from a workflow perspective through the entire agentic pipeline, we are still working to see what makes most sense. We'll have some decisions made here soon. Obviously, we're spending a lot of time on this. So to say that we haven't figured out yet would be an overstatement. But to say that anyone has figured it out yet would also be an overstatement. So
Yeah,
it
that's right.
is. There's a lot of experimentation going on right now to figure out what makes sense. But
Yeah,
at the same time, too, it's MCP, A to A for the agentic stuff. There's a lot of new things that have come out that it's like, okay, what makes sense, what doesn't, where do we invest? And also of this, it's not just IQ from the what we're doing on the AI front directly, but of these new capabilities, what also should be integrated into our other storage products? What should be integrated in to, again, like being a part of that AI data platform program? Where do we draw threads in or have threads that go into other parts of our portfolio so that we can pull these things closer together and improve on the overall experience?
yeah. Are you also, or one of your clients, other Hitachi business units? I would guess that you're,
Absolutely.
yeah. And
Yeah.
do you end up building solutions that then you productize and make available to others?
Yeah, we call it customer one. So we are as much customer one for what we build internally and take to market. And we do have other customers who are like, hey, we want to do this thing. And okay, great, we'll build this together. So very much we eat our own dog food, drink our own champagne, whatever it is that you want to use. But we definitely work together internally to solve our own problems and then take those to market as much as we come together with a customer. We have current active engagements doing this, solving some absolutely complicated global problems where it's us, it's our business unit partner, it's NVIDIA, and the customer working together to solve some really fundamental issues to where it benefits us as much as the customer and every other customer after that because we are going after these really big. I don't want to call it a moonshot because we are seeing improvements, but these are very complicated things that we're solving. And like I said, it's as much for us as it is for our customers in some case.
Yeah. And how do uh, outside customers work with you? I mean, do they uh, come to you? We want to integrate AI into our operations. We don't know how, or do they come to you saying, we run a fleet of ships around the world, and we want to optimize our scheduling with AI. I mean, do
Mhm.
they come to you with a specific problem, or do they come to you sort of greenfield saying, come help us become an AI company?
I'd say it's that, and it's also where we spark curiosity through conversations that we have where it's not even about AI. Obviously, we have a very deep Rolodex of customers. So I have a dedicated set of solution overlays, sellers that are all they talk about is AI capabilities. And they go ideate with customers and inspire them like, hey, this is the potential of it. So it's as much as them coming to us saying, hey, we want to be AI enabled, or hey, we have this problem we're trying to do. We've done this in manufacturing where it's like, hey, we're trying to solve for this problem. Hey, we actually have an idea for this, and we work through it, and like we solve the problem, and they're very happy, and then we go on to the next and the next with them. So it's as much us inspiring them as the customer coming to us saying, hey, we have a problem, or hey, we're thinking about this, and then having that conversation and fleshing that out to the point where it's like, yep, we can start to solve that, and this is the resources and what it will take to actually get there.
Yeah. AI is becoming so important in all industries. Uh, when did Hitachi IQ start as a brand, and how important I would guess that it's going to become a really core offering within Hitachi?
Yep, absolutely. So we launched IQ officially at GTC 24, so a year and some change ago. GTC is obviously NVIDIA's big event
Yeah.
that they have in San Jose. So we just celebrated our 1 year anniversary with it back in March, at the same time of my birthday. So it was a great birthday present. Um, excuse me. But but before that, obviously, lots of work went into, okay, what does this mean? How are we going to take this to market? And then a lot of work has happened to put us on the map and to define us as we are more than just a storage company. We are a data company. Obviously, that's been our branding capability for a long time, but now evolving that, and we are an AI company. So that is much of the time that I spend is advocating with our partners, with our customers, with analysts and press and NVIDIA that directly, and others saying, yep, we're an AI company. Where are we going to solve problems, and what are we going to do here? And then talking with customers. But then it's also what we've done previously to reinforce that and showing those examples and showing those use cases. And that's where we've been very specific. Our strategy, obviously, is to sell product, is to solve these problems for our customers. But it's not to just sell them a bunch of GPUs and walk away. It is to make sure that they're getting the desired result, to actually see that outcome, and then, okay, what's it going to take to hit that outcome, and then work backwards from there and pull through what's necessary. So while we are an infrastructure company, there is no denying that we are more than that, and it's having that vision and painting that picture to our customer, being that very outcome oriented, and then again bringing in the necessary to support that.
Yeah. Can you give us some examples of some of the larger projects that Hitachi IQ has tackled?
Yeah, big global manufacturing projects, companies that manufacture a tremendous amount of displays where, hey, they want to improve on identifying defects and damage along the way, and IQ is the big repository for that. It's where all that training takes place so that they have that visual inspection capability. Um, IQ has trained LLMs, customers who have devices with LLMs embedded in them. Some of those LLMs have been trained on IQ. There are numerous use cases of just private AI systems to help better process data, to better in how different companies engage with their customer base. IQ is the AI engine that helps coach them through filling out paperwork or answering the question better, things like that. And then improving on things like just enterprise search. I am more inclined to get the information I need if I can just ask a chat interface and it's plumbed into the data and it summarizes and gives me exactly what I need instead of scrolling through pages and pages of irrelevant search results. So we've built tooling like this and capabilities like this that help our customers solve these problems. And some of them are very, very big, and some of them are nascent, small starter areas that will evolve and become bigger and bigger because, again, they see that, hey, this is powerful. Hey, that first batch that we did, hey, it's time to do the next thing. And we have some ideas for that. And that inspiration sparks, and now it's turns into this wildfire of ideas.
Yeah. How are you? I mean, having started this a year ago, I mean, it's well,
Yes.
and yeah. Where do you start,
Hmm.
and how do you? I mean, obviously, you start with your advantages, uh,
Yes.
but how do you? Is there a roadmap for keeping up
Oh,
and
absolutely. Yep.
expanding? Yeah.
Yes. It's it does help that I have amazing leadership inside of Hitachi Vantara that believes in this wholeheartedly. Even above Vantara into the global Hitachi Limited ecosystem, they believe in this wholeheartedly. So having that support has been amazing.
Mhm.
I couldn't say enough about Sheila, our CEO, and Octavian, our Chief Product Officer, who believe in this and have dedicated resources to get this going. My PM organization, our general manager, all of this, like people are like, they are committed to this thing. It is the number two priority from a company perspective.
I can
Obviously,
imagine.
there's our core product, what we do, it's like it's our bread and butter, but AI is number two. And it's been amazing, an amazing ride, and we're moving very quickly. Now, what we do have though is hindsight as a benefit. So
Yeah.
we've learned from the mistakes that others have made, and we've been able to skip them. And it's saved a bunch of money and heartache and time and all that stuff. But that doesn't mean that we don't make our own mistakes along the way, just like everyone else is. But it's being able to, I call it knobs and dials, rapidly address them, change what's necessary, and then move forward. Fail fast is another method or term that's used. But the point is, though, is that it's a commitment from a large organization, it's a commitment from leadership, and it's a commitment from the people who are directly involved in it to catch up and to start to look at going, okay, we didn't have to make these mistakes. What can we do to leapfrog? And that's where I'm really excited about what our roadmap will show. And the, the market will see a lot of very cool things that are coming out that show this leapfrog mentality that we're really going after and how we're addressing this space. And I wake up in the morning excited about what's the next thing that we get to do, what's that next thing that we get to release into, and how can we innovate more into this. And it's been a great ride. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Uh, and so you are building some models, but you integrate with a range of open
Yep,
source models. Do you
absolutely.
leverage any of the proprietary models?
I mean, we give our customers the ability to offload and send into things like OpenAI and Grok and others through it's an API call. So we don't preclude them from doing that at all. We can do it on-prem, they can do it in the cloud. Though the biggest thing that we realize, and this goes across the entirety of our strategy from a Hitachi Vantara standpoint, is that we live in a hybrid ecosystem, a hybrid
Yeah,
world. Our customers are in the cloud and on-prem in various levels, customer by customer. That's just the way it's going to be forever and now. And that's totally fine. So our strategy isn't to fight that. Our strategy is to show benefits from either side and how it would align to a customer's requirement, and then support them in their journey. And if it means, hey, some of the stuff goes to the cloud, some of it stays on-prem, whatever that is, that's totally fine. The other side of it too, though, is how can we use concepts from the cloud, like as a service or OpEx type payment capabilities and bursting and all that? How can we use that model to improve on how we can create a better offering to our customers? And so it's as important as understanding where their data lives, if it's on the cloud or on-prem, how they like to consume things, as it is to just say, listen, we're flexible. We'll give you the ability to consume how you want to create the outcome that you need, and go from there.
yeah. The is does Hitachi IQ, is it built around a sort of a flagship uh, product or solution, or is it much more horizontal and than that?
It is horizontal. I would say the thing that we did, we made a conscientious decision to build around the NVIDIA ecosystem. I mean, they're the gorilla in the market. There's no denying how successful Jensen and that
Yep.
company have been in this, and they are an amazing partner for us. We love working with them. So where we were strategic is in aligning to their ecosystem. So things like obviously um, H100, H200, Blackwell, even Bluefield and Spectrum X, and all these things that they're doing from a portfolio perspective, absolutely very important. NVIDIA AI Enterprise from a software suite and that capability that they've done from blueprints and things like that, very important. Really, though, what I would say what we revolve around is it, more so than anything else, is obviously who we are as a company and our ability to understand data and to bring what's necessary into those frameworks and be able to support that outcome in there. So I would say that our, if anything, our flagship is the data reputation that we have.
How do you advise clients on the need for experimentation with the pressure of showing ROI? That's a classic problem that businesses face.
Yeah, I mean, I think what this has really highlighted is that the definition of ROI is changing.
Hmm.
Now, what it's changing into, I think we're still trying to figure that out, honestly. But the traditional ROI, like if you look at it from, if we just take AI at its face, generative AI and agentic AI at its face, what it's supposed to do is improve on efficiency. Improving on efficiency and how our people do things, how they do their jobs, usually means that we don't need as many people or we don't have to hire as many. And maybe it's cutting jobs, things like that. And that's not what I want to happen. And I
Yeah.
think that that gets overplayed a bit. But that's why ROI, saying what's the ROI on AI? It's, well, it's your people spending time on things that are more important. So you could say, well, it is that you don't have to hire as often. The other side of it, though, could be is like, well, you're learning more about your systems and you're starting to build a competitive advantage. So your investment in AI means that you're one step further ahead than your competition. That's a ROI. But that's a lot harder to kind of quantify. So from my perspective, it's, this is why I say it's also being a bit redefined, is we have a high failure rate traditionally of AI projects. If you, I
Yeah.
think McKinsey's last number was something near 90% of the AI projects that were started fail. Um, and again, see the previous conversation of why we see a lot of that. But in that, though, is, well, how do we wrap failure in as part of the ROI?
Yeah.
So, and that could be learning. I personally learn more from when I fail at something than when I succeed at something. So that has a tangible value. So how can we wrap that into an ROI model? So this is why I say it's being redefined what ROI actually means, but it's complicated. And saying that we know what it is now, we're not there yet. But again, this is where we have to take into consideration that there's a lot more to it than just how many jobs did I cut or how much money did we save or anything like that, because it's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah. And you guys are, Vantara is at its core an infrastructure company, right? How
Mhm.
how do you how can businesses evaluate whether or not their infrastructure is ready to support AI at scale?
Yeah, I mean, usually it's they're not. More 9 times out of 10, they're not. I mean, AI brings a whole different paradigm to what infrastructure needs to be able to support. From data perspective, we're talking tens to hundreds of millions of IOPS, throughput, networks that aren't designed for the level of data that flows through it, even source systems that have problems. A great example is a manufacturing company that we were working with. Their source data wasn't ready for AI to consume the data of where it lived. So we had to go in and transform that source of data where we had to pull things from in a more real-time fashion to be able to support the additional workload that AI was, that also supports their enterprise requirements. So in a lot of cases, customers run right close to the edge, and by putting AI workloads on top of these systems could cause them to fall over. And that's the last thing that we want to do. So it's it's forcing this transformation and this modernization of the network, of the compute resources, of the source applications, of the data itself, so that now that they're ready. Now, the good thing is it doesn't require like a mass overhaul of everything, but it is very it's very siloed, it's very targeted, that needs to see this improvement. And the way that we built IQ is that it is self-contained as much as it needs to be. So it has storage that's designed to meet the scale and demand that the GPUs will create, the hardest hitting workloads. It's got the network so that the GPUs can talk to each other for memory sharing and all the other stuff, as well as what the GPU needs to be able to talk to the storage platform at as fast as possible, so that they're getting fed and being fully utilized. So we've built that to be turnkey from an infrastructure standpoint. The what you connect into and start to pull data from and things like that, that's where that transformation needs to start to take place in. And that's where, again, understanding your use case helps us then understand where we need to reinforce capabilities.
Yeah, naturally, you would be talking to your existing customers, Vantara
Mhm.
customers,
Yep.
but do you also talk to companies that are using other,
Oh,
whether
absolutely.
it's
Yep.
Oracle or
Mhm.
IBM
Yeah.
or somebody like that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everyone's on the table as far as we don't shy away from anyone. And again, it's because it's where we really target the like, how can we improve on things? We're even at the point too where a customer may have made an investment already and they're trying to figure out how to use the GPUs they already bought. We'll go help them do that also, because we realize once you start to see success, then the use cases continue to scale and continue to grow. And who are they most likely to call back when they need to start doing expansions on the infrastructure side or start looking at the other use cases? So we very much, again, we're agnostic. Everyone is a potential opportunity for us. We want to help everyone realize the value behind this, and really spend time in making sure that they get the best bang for buck on their side so that they can see that value.
Yeah. Where do you see this going, both for Hitachi IQ? I mean, presumably it's going to grow,
Mhm.
but where do you see the whole AI in the enterprise going? As you were saying, there's a very high failure rate on the pilot programs. Uh, People are gradually putting things into production, but looking ahead 10 years, what's your hope for Hitachi IQ? And how do you think, how immersed will the economy and enterprises be in AI, or how
Yep.
broadly do you think AI will be disseminated?
Yeah, so a couple things. That's a great question. First and foremost, what I think is from a this failure rate thing, the, there's two sides of that coin. The side one is, yes, a high failure rate, 10% at best succeed.
Mhm.
The other side of that, though, is that there's this term, the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't even remember what movie that came from.
Yeah,
The 10% that's left has shown such a dramatic improvement in ROI, bottom line improvement, competitive advantage, whatever it is, that that 90% failure rate is well worth that 10% success rate, because it more than pays for itself. So that I think we'll continue to see. Now, obviously, again, it's just like going to the gym. The more you exercise, the more you become the more better you get at these things, the more success you see. So from our standpoint, as we see more engagement, as customers start to work on this more, they'll start to see fewer failures and more successes. The other side of it is I see that will start to be ingrained, not just in like, hey, I have a chatbot to solve a problem for me, but agentic AI will start to help things like AI ops, better data management tools, things like that. This is a lot of thinking that we have also on how we can improve our products with agentic AI, IQ talking into our other storage products and helping IT operations be more streamlined. So things like, and I posted a blog about this not too long ago. It kind of gave you a glimpse into our thinking. It's having an agentic AI kind of broken down into five categories: a data classification and management agent workflow, a proactive storage optimization workflow. How can we get the storage to run as efficiently as possible and have less hands-on to do it? Automated data governance and compliance. That's super important, especially in today's world where we have boundaries and we're seeing more clear regulation on how data can be handled and things like that. It's going to take systems to be able to do that more efficiently. Things like predictive maintenance, where systems can stay online more, and be able to phone home better and do things around that and route around problems. And then, most importantly, though, especially in today's day and age, is better data security and protection. How can we ensure that, hey, I know, and how do these all work together? So I have a data governance agentic workflow that understands data as it's coming in and understands the kind of the point of view of what that data is, and then ensures the right compliance is there. And then my security and my data security agents can then ensure, hey, by the way, this data was missed and we need to go in and we'll update it from the governance side and then protect it better and do all that stuff. So we see a lot of these themes that will start to be injected into how AI ops operates. And that will again give a lot of value and simplify a lot from an operation standpoint, but also help in a lot of these compliance requirements and things like that.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, there's a lot. It's very young. It's growing up very quickly, and I see that the potential is vast for this. So now it's a matter of capitalizing and capturing that, and then creating some very valuable outcomes to our customers, and then capitalizing and going forward and continuing to learn and evolve from there.
Yeah. I've got to ask because I imagine you're hiring if you're in the expansion phase. Is it hard to find people in the current marketplace?
It depends. The answer is yes, but also no. I mean, everyone's on fire about AI. Everyone is learning about it. There are a lot of nuances to it.
Mhm.
Selling it is one thing. Having being a technical expert around it is another thing. Developing for it gets very expensive. These resources are in very high demand. The good news is from our perspective, we invested in these resources for a long time. We have, if we look at inside the group that we live inside of, within Hitachi, we have over 9,500 machine learning engineers who do this on a daily basis. So from an engineering perspective, we've got a lot of resources. Now, a lot of those are customer facing, forward facing into projects. But yeah, we are hiring and we are working on, okay, getting the right resources in. How can we best, obviously, I still have a budget I have to adhere to. So who I can bring in and where we can be effective with that. And then obviously how we can have just a killer team out in the market that is going in, identifying and helping our customers. And obviously that takes a certain personality. So
Yeah.
it's also bringing in those resources too. Now, I think from my perspective, Craig, you like nailed it. This was a great conversation. I think a lot of cool topics, and it's as you can see, I'm very passionate about this, and I love this stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's been fun to have this conversation.
Talk a little bit about the sustainability issue because that is coming to the fore.
Yeah, absolutely. This stuff requires a lot of power. Not just power directly on the GPU, but obviously a lot of data is required, a lot of processing. It's not just the data it's sourcing, but it's generating a tremendous amount of data.
Yeah.
And doing that efficiently is really difficult. Now, we at our core, from Hitachi Limited down to Hitachi Vantara and everyone else in between, and to our left and right, sustainability is our number one priority. Obviously, the
Mhm.
only planet that will ever get. So how can we do this right? Everything that we do from a product perspective has sustainability in mind. Now, we don't build GPUs. It's just we don't. So obviously we can't impact on that.
Yep.
But what we do build is what I call the peripheral of the GPU, the storage platforms, how we engineer, the code we write, all of these aspects of it, of how these resources are consumed. So what we have is in our mind a point of an objective of how we can improve on the sustainability side of this technology through what we can directly impact. So it's in the outcomes that we create. It's in our storage technology, which by the way is Energy Star top three rated as the most sustainable storage platforms in the
Mm.
market. So there's a lot that we've done in our portfolio to be able to offset the impact of some of this technology. The point is, though, is that, listen, this stuff will continue to burn hot. This stuff will continue to grow and scale and consume more and more. NVIDIA will do what they can do to improve on it. They also have this in mind, as well as AMD and Intel and all the other players in this space. But it's what we can do directly based on what we control that is important. And that is what we can do in our products, how we can ensure that throughout us as an organization, whether it's, again, the code rewrite, the products we build, even our supply chain and how we source and the things that we do this in a sustainable and conscientious way so that we can say, listen, we're doing the best that we can to improve on that. Now, what it turns into in some cases is, for lack of a better term, it's like carbon credits. We're optimizing where we can to offset where others can't. And we're proud of that because we are contributing in a very positive way to improve on the sustainability side of what AI actually is.